Hey everybody, welcome back to another video here. I have some fun tips for you today. If you have not been here before, my name's Toni and I am a homeschooling mom of 4 kids. I have been homeschooling for about 7 years now. I do not call myself an expert by any means, but I have some things that I have learned along the way that I thought would be fun to share with you guys. If you are new to homeschooling or considering homeschooling, it can be a little overwhelming, so I thought I'll just give you my top 10 tips to get started and to keep in mind as you go through this journey that can be a huge blessing. And hopefully this will be helpful to you. So stick around for my top 10 tips. So here we go. Now, before I get started, I'm going to share a little something with you. So I had everything set up and I was ready to do my video this morning, and I had my kids doing something else inside the house. I'm in an addition that's like on the outside or on the back side of our house. And I asked them to give me 10 minutes. This is going to be quick. I'll do a quick 10-minute video. You guys stay inside. Well, if you have kids, you know interruptions happen. So between 4 kids and especially a cute little 4-year-old boy, I probably got interrupted 600 times while doing this, so I finally gave up, and I'm starting again now. So he is laying down taking a nap, and my girls are all in their rooms reading, so hopefully this will be a peaceful, nice, quick video. But the cool part is, thanks to all those wonderful interruptions, I thought of a bonus tip. So you wouldn't have gotten this amazing bonus tip today if it hadn't been for my precious morning. So I'm going to give you my bonus tip in the beginning. My bonus tip is, be flexible. If you have 1 kid or you have 20 kids, you need to be flexible. Your day is not going to go as you planned. There are people out there that are they like to schedule everything out and they like to go down and check things off their list, and that is fine. And there's people that just kind of go with the flow. Either way, with kids, life is going to be, it's never going to go exactly how you planned. So you may have all these things that you plan to do, and you may plan to do this at 9 o'clock and this at 9:30 and this at 10 o'clock. But I promise you, interruptions are going to happen and you've got to be flexible. So that's my number one thing. Because if you get stressed out and you get flustered every time an interruption happens and you feel like you're not staying on track with your day, the whole day is going to be shot. Be flexible. Okay. So now let's get started with the 10 tips that I had planned on sharing with you. So the number one tip, that if you've looked at any sort of curriculum, if you've ever been to a homeschool convention or you've just gone online and Googled homeschool curriculum, there are, I don't know how many, I would probably say hundreds. I have no idea how many curriculum there are out there. There's so many choices and it can be so overwhelming. So my 2 tips to just kind of give you a better picture of what will work for your family is called Kathy Duffy Reviews. And she breaks down every curriculum available, from secular, Christian. She breaks it down with unit studies, every subject. If you just want to look by history curriculum or math curriculum, if you want to look by grade and you have a 3rd grader and you want to look at everything available for 3rd graders, she has it all broken down. She's looked through all this and given a very thorough review on every curriculum out there, really. So that's a huge help. Like I said, I've been homeschooling for 7 years, and every year that I want to look into something new, I go to that webpage and I see what she has to say about it, because she just breaks it down and really gives you a detailed look at how this curriculum works and what her opinion is. Everything that I have seen on her webpage has been true for the curriculum that we have used. So that's really helpful. And the other thing to go with that point is YouTube. You're on YouTube, you're watching my video right now, so you may already know this, but YouTube has so many people out there that use different curriculum and show you flip-throughs of curriculum, and they give reviews of all kinds of different things. So if you just Google whatever it is that you're looking for, if you've gone on Kathy Duffy and let's say you found 3 history curriculum that look like they would be a good fit, go on YouTube and research, Google the name of that curriculum and then watch some of those ladies' reviews, and I guarantee it will be helpful. So There's just so many, whether they're giving, obviously these are opinions. All these 10 tips today are my opinion. Like what's worked for me, it may not work for you, and that's fine. But it still helps to see different opinions. I love seeing, 4 different videos on the same curriculum, and people may think totally different things, or they may all agree, but it's really helpful. So use YouTube. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would encourage anyone starting out with homeschooling. If this is your first year and you've never done it before, I would recommend using a boxed curriculum. And if you don't know what that is basically you go to one company and you order, let's say you're doing a 3rd grader. You order the 3rd grade curriculum. They send you, I have an example here. This is what we've used before as a box curriculum, but there are so many choices. This one's called Heart of Dakota, and this is what my 1st grader used this year. So let's say you have a 1st grader and she's starting out. You would order, if you wanted to do this one, this was the book we ordered for her. So this is the guide, which is a teacher's guide, but it's also really the student's guide. And in this is everything you need. So this includes reading about history. There's science, and this box sometimes has science and sometimes has art. So it includes art. It includes Bible study. It has a thing called Rhymes in Motion, which is kind of like poetry for little beginners. It has music, fine motor skills, which is like phonics and language arts. It's got story times. You're doing read alouds. It has, this is more phonics over here, and then there's math. This is one day, everything that you need for that child. Now the cool thing is, you would order this, and every single thing that comes with it, you can order. That's why they call it a box. It comes in a box, everything you need. So you don't have to do that. And the downside would be it is sometimes more expensive. But if you want everything that you need and you don't want to be worried about, oh, did I forget this, or do I need to fill in this blank or whatever, if you do a box curriculum, everything you need for every single one of these things, even down to the CD, they sell the CD that you can get in your set, or your language arts or math or whatever, you get this big stack of books and you've got everything you need. So I would recommend doing a box curriculum. There's My Father's World. There's, I know Sunlight is one. There's a lot. I've never used Sunlight, but I have used My Father's World before. Anyway, go on Kathy Duffy and look up. Sometimes they're called unit studies or they're called all-in-one programs, and it'll have everything that you need. So I would recommend that for any first-year homeschooler, and as you get comfortable, as the years go along, then you might want to step out of the box and take this math from here and this history from here and this science from this company, and you might be mixing it all up, and that means you have to plan it out, and it can be great if you are a good planner, but in the beginning it can be overwhelming to keep up with everything. So that's my number 2 tip. So my number 3 tip is use Pinterest. Most people have Pinterest and we pin stuff and don't necessarily follow through with it, but especially if you have littles, if you have like preschoolers that you're going to try to homeschool this year, or kindergarten, well, really even bigger kids. Pinterest has everything, but I have used that a lot for free printables for my little one. I didn't really buy a preschool curriculum for my little guy this year until recently, and so I would go on there and just print out alphabet tracing pages, or type in free printables. You can Google it too, but Pinterest is a lot easier, I think. But yeah, they just have everything. Or if you're studying a certain book, let's say you're doing Little House on the Prairie as a read aloud, and you wanted to do a little study on it, you can type in lap books it's called a lap book. I'll have to show one of those sometime, but it's like a folder, and you put all these little papers inside of it, and it just shows all these things that you learned that had to do with Little House on the Prairie, but you can find those for free on Pinterest. So that would be my recommendation for that. If you want to kind of get your feet wet, even if you want to try this summer and just do a couple little things, that would be a good way to go. So that's number 3. Number 4, this might seem kind of silly, but I'm not kidding you. Pencils, okay? You're probably like, okay, whatever. I can buy whatever pencils I want, and you can. But let me tell you, let me see if I can hold these close enough. Have you ever heard of these? Ticonderoga. So I've got the big fat one for beginners, and these are so great when they're just learning how to write. And then these skinny ones, and they also come in black. But I'm telling you, now it's the end of the year, so we don't have any erasers left. But out of all the pencils that we have used over the years, we've used pretty ones, we've used Dr. Seuss and ones with flowers and all this stuff. The tips always break. The erasers are always trash, and they leave marks and they don't really erase. These are so good. So anyway, this is my recommendation on pencils. I'm serious. I totally think it's worth it. So they're just called Ticonderoga, and they're wonderful. So we love them. Number 5, reading. What do I let my child read? So if you are one of those moms that wants to make sure your child is reading things that are age appropriate and things that are not going to have anything questionable in them, and you don't even know where to start, and you don't have time to pre-read every single book that your child reads. Well, I found this book years ago. It's called Honey for a Child's Heart by Gladys Hunt. The Imaginative Use of Books in Family Life. This book is so awesome because this breaks down all these good quality books. Now, so it's got like stuff in the beginning for mom and tips on how and the why of choosing the right books. But then as you get later in the book, it has it broken down by the child's ages. You probably can't even see this. I could maybe do a flip through. Okay, so here's a quick flip through of this book, Honey for a Child's Heart. Part 2. This was the part I wanted to show you. Best love books for children. First books, ages 0 to 3. And look at this. There's all the books. And you can check them off as you go or go back and read them again. There's picture books. So this is, see it says up here, ages 4 to 8. So now we've got favorite picture books for ages 4 through 8. It's just so nice to have this at your fingertips to just look through and say, what do I need for my 4 to 8 year olds? Here we have classic children's novels, ages 9 through 12. There's Little Women, Mr. Popper's Penguins, Caddy Woodlawn, The Secret Garden, The Bears of Hemlock Mountain. Like a lot of these you may have heard of, but then there's going to be some on here. 21 Balloons, we just read that one this year. The Moffats, all the ones I've read on here are good, I gotta tell you. Some of them I haven't. Adam of the Road is one I think we're gonna read this coming year that we haven't done yet. The cool thing is, as you can see here, it's got a description. So it's got the name of the book and the author. It's got a description. And some of them, like this one, James Cross Giblin wrote The Amazing Life of Benjamin Franklin. Well, he also wrote The Amazing Life of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Charles Lindbergh. And so sometimes it'll list other really good books that are similar by the same author. This book would be a great one to buy and just keep on your shelf as a reference and be able to use whenever you need to pick a new book. Number 6, think about your schedule. What kind of school schedule do you want to have? Do you want to have 4 days a week where you have 1 day off, either for co-op or maybe dad has a day off during the week and you want to take a day off with him during the week? You could do a 4-day-a-week schedule. Do you want to do 5 days a week? Do you want to do a traditional school year where you start in September and you finish in May? Or do you want it, some people do year round. Do you want to start, this is how we do it. We usually will take off like a month, like in June. We usually start in July and we go kind of all year with breaks here and there. We take vacation or we take a day off if daddy has a day off during the week, or if we want to take 2 weeks off for Christmas. But we've started early enough that we can do that and we're able to take lots of breaks throughout the year. So think about your family, your schedule, how it's going to work best for your family. But get that in your head and plan that out. Neither choice is wrong. If you only want to do school 4 days a week, so we do school Monday and then we have co-op on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we do school. Some people do school Monday through Thursday and they take Friday off as a nature day and they do nature walks, or they go to the zoo, or they do field trips that day. Or some people just do Monday through Friday so that they can end early. It totally depends on you. Figure out your schedule and figure out what works for you and then plan around that. So that's number 6. So number 7, this is something that's going to be new to us this year and I'm so excited about, is doing a morning basket. I don't know if you have been looking into homeschooling any little bit of time. You've probably heard this phrase thrown around, morning basket. You might be wondering, what in the world is that? So basically, it's just combining group subjects. So if you have more than one kid, if you have 2 kids, or you have 4 kids, or you have 8 kids, you might want to consider combining subjects. So, and a lot of times what they'll do, this is what we're going to plan on doing this year. You don't really have to have a basket, I guess, but you kind of have a basket or something, which is why they call it morning basket. And you've got all these subjects that you're going to do together in your basket, and you may meet in the living room in the morning, and you sit on the couch, and you'll do these subjects together. So like Bible. This is our plan for this year. You can do it however you want. We're going to do Bible together, all 4 of my kids. We're going to do history together. We're going to do science together. And some people do poetry together. So there's all kinds of things that you can do together. So that's what morning basket is. So consider that if you don't want to have each kid doing totally separate things. And mom can be great if your kids are independent workers. But it can also stretch mom a little bit. So that's a nice thing to try out. We have done some stuff together years past, and then we did a lot of independent the last couple of years, and we're going back to doing group subjects this year, and I'm really excited about that. So think about your morning basket and combining some subjects that you can do. There's lots of, it's kind of family style, so there's lots of curriculum out there that you can choose. Like we're using BiblioPlan is our history for this year. And so I will read that history to all 4 of my girls, 6th grade, 4th grade, and 2nd grade. I'll read them the same thing, but they'll have different assignments, or they'll have different input when it comes to the discussion time and different things like that. So that's how you do that for different ages. I might assign my oldest, to write an essay on what she learned or something like that, or my youngest might draw a picture. I don't know how we're going to do it exactly. But that's kind of what it is. But you're teaching together. So that is something I'm excited about. And that's something that I feel really could work well, especially for large families. Okay, number 8. Buy used curriculum if you can. There are Facebook swap pages that if you haven't joined any, if you find a specific curriculum that you're looking for, let's say you are considering Heart of Dakota, look on Facebook for Heart of Dakota buy sell page and join that page, and you're going to find lots of for sale curriculum on there, and it's a fraction of the cost, because it can be expensive, especially if you have multiple kids. It can be expensive to buy all this curriculum new. So look on Facebook. And another thing is, a lot of times in our area at least, and I would assume this happens all over, people will do kind of like a yard sale, but it's a curriculum sale. So there's places where they'll set up tables in a church or different places, and these ladies will rent a table, and they'll set up all their curriculum on that table, and you walk around and you buy whatever you want, and it is awesome. I have bought so much curriculum over the years at these used curriculum sales. So that you'll have to kind of search out your area and see if you can find it, but that's a good way to do it. And the last one would be thrift stores. I have found such good curriculum over the years at thrift stores. So this was one of the ones that I did a video on recently, the reading lesson, and I love this so much. And I found this at a thrift store for like $1 or something. It was so cheap, and it was fine. It was in perfect condition then. So I have found curriculum over the years. Check your thrift stores. So that's tip number 8. Tip number 9, and I think this is really important, especially if you're coming from the public school and you are starting to homeschool for the first time. Do not try to duplicate public school, okay? The beauty of homeschooling is you don't have to have school at home. You don't have to set up little desks in your classroom where everyone's facing up front and mom stands up front with her book and teaches. It doesn't have to be like that. That's what I think is the beauty of it. You don't even have to sit at a desk. Your kids don't even have to sit at a table. Isn't that crazy? They can sit on the couch with a lap desk, or they can lay on the floor. Whatever works for your family. So don't feel like you have to go buy all this expensive furniture and you have to have this perfect schoolroom. Some people don't even have a schoolroom, and they sit around the kitchen table and it works fine. Or sometimes when they need to concentrate, my kids will go into their own room and they'll go do, a math test in their rooms. They're not with everybody else and they have some quiet. but don't try to force it to be like school. It doesn't need to be 8 hours. I don't think I've ever heard of a homeschooler that has taken 8 hours to do school, or however, I don't know how long school is, between 6 and 8 hours maybe that they actually go to school. But if you have little ones, you may be done in an hour, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you have older ones, I think last year we were usually done, if everyone was focused, we were usually done in 4 hours, and that was for my 5th grader. You don't feel guilty about that. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, we need to sit here and fill in the rest of this time. Because remember, you're going to be doing field trips. You're going to be learning when they're doing art. Like last year we discovered Art Hub, which is on YouTube. Look that up if you haven't already seen it. But it's this person that teaches them how to draw these things on YouTube, and my kids loved it. Well, that's art class. They're watching a YouTube video, they're doing art. They probably spent an hour on that once they finish coloring it and all that in. So if you're required to do your hours and you have to log stuff in, just kind of look around and realize that really our whole life is homeschooling. Everything we're doing involves homeschooling. You don't have to sit at a desk for 8 hours. That's number 9. Okay, tip number 10. You ready for this? Now, let me just preface this by saying I understand that not everybody that watches this video will have the same religious beliefs as me, and that's fine. I am a born-again believer, and so this is a major part of my life. So if this does not apply to you, like I said, all these tips are what works best for me and my family. So I'm going to give you number 10. Pray. Number 10. Seriously, this is the most important tip. Pray. Pray before you decide on your curriculum. When you're looking at different curriculum and you're trying to decide what's going to work best for your family, pray about it. I've been trying to decide what math to order for my kids this year because I'm not totally decided yet. And I prayed about it last night. And I'm hoping God's going to help me have clarity and and see this is the one that's going to work best for you. You may be in a situation where your husband is not on the same page. We were like that when I first started with my little one because he thought the best education is going to be a private school education. That's what we need to do because he went to a private Christian school growing up and he did really great. And he didn't think that homeschooling was going to be the best thing for our kids. Well, you know what? I prayed. He let me do preschool for my daughter. He was okay with that. And so that's how we started. And I prayed for him for an entire year that the Lord would get us on the same page and we would both just see that this is what God was doing because I felt like this was what God had called me to do, was to homeschool my kids. And you know what? It worked because he's on the same page and he's been supportive ever since then. So if you are feeling like this is what you're supposed to do and your husband really doesn't want to do it, just pray about it. That would be my best suggestion for that. Pray for your kids. Pray for them when they're struggling through math and they're struggling to get this language concept or when they're hating school. Pray for them. Pray before you start each day. There are times that I will catch myself, will be 2 subjects in and I'm frustrated at this kid and they're picking on each other and everybody's kind of getting all upset with each other and very short fuses, and I realize, okay, we did not start this day in prayer. And then it's hard when you're all frustrated to then go back and, okay, let's pray, and everybody's kind of mad. Start your day with prayer. I also recommend starting your day with Bible. If you're going to have Bible in your curriculum, have that as the beginning of your day because it'll set the tone for the rest of your day. And just don't do this on your own. This is a big step. This is your whole life, that for the mom or the dad or whoever it is that's going to be doing the homeschooling and teaching your kid. Homeschooling takes a lot of time and a lot of heart and a lot of emotion and dedication. Don't try to do it on your own. Pray about it and ask the Lord for strength, and He will help you get through it. And just the wisdom I've gained just through praying and asking the Lord, I feel like I've had clarity on things that I wouldn't have otherwise if I was trying to do it on my own, because when I try to do stuff on my own, I feel like I'm going to fail. So that's my number one tip. I think it's number 10, but it's actually, I think, the most important tip is to just pray about it and let the Lord help you through this, and just trust Him and trust what you decide. And if you pick a curriculum and then it comes in and you get overwhelmed and you get nervous, just stick with it. Give it some time and just try to relax. So I hope these tips were really helpful for you. I hope that anyone who is starting to homeschool or considering homeschooling, that this will be a fun adventure for you and your family. It has been for us. It's been hard. There have been lots of times where it was really, really hard. But overall, it's been the biggest blessing. So I love the time that I spend with my kids, and I love seeing them learn, and just seeing that light bulb go off when they get it is the best thing ever. And I so love that I've gotten to be the one to see that light bulb go off when they first learn how to read. And it wasn't their teacher at school, it was me. You know, it wasn't somebody having to tell me about it. So that's been the biggest thing, and one of the best things. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, or you have any comments, or you have any tips that you think would be great, throw them in the comments for me and for others to hear, and hopefully that will help each other out. And if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos. And I just appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.